Happy Sunday. This is 90.7 The Capstone. My name is Noah, talking to all the different bands who are competing in the championship for the Battle of the Bands here in Tuscaloosa. And in the studio today, we have the Wheelers.
Woo.
Hey.
Thank you.
What's up? Thanks for having us, man.
Sure thing. Happy to be talking to you. And want to start off by going around, what is your name and what do you do with the group?
All right. My name is Matthew, and I play bass.
My name's Shakari's, and I play drums.
I'm Graham, and I'm the lead singer, and I play rhythm guitar.
I'm Justin, lead guitar and backing vocals.
Nice. And so tell me a little bit about how did this band come together? How did the Wheelers come to be?
So we're seniors now, and whenever I first got here, the first questions that I was like asking everybody was like, do you know a band? Do you have, like I rushed fraternities, and that was the first question that I would always ask them was like, do you have a house band? So it's something that I'd known that I wanted to do for a while, and then COVID rolled around, and I had a lot of free time, and there's this, it's basically Craigslist, but yeah, it's called
Band Mix.
Yeah, Band Mix. And so you can receive messages on there without paying for it, but to send messages you have to pay. So I got some money on Christmas Day, sophomore year, hit Justin up, and that's how we started. And then I think we started playing in January.
January, February, yeah.
And then we played our first gig in late February,
yeah,
I think,
it was
a year and a half
birthday party
ago.
sort of thing. And then after that, I mean, we brought Jay in. I went to high school with Jay, and it was he played trumpet there. And so I was like, oh, trumpet would be kind of cool. So we had Jay on trumpet for a little bit. We had kind of a revolving door of drummers for a second, and then Jay kind of moved in when our old drummer graduated, moved on, and now we've just been rocking and rolling ever since then. It's been kind of fun.
deal.
Yeah, so like for this combination, it took a little minute to get this combination.
Yeah, I think we're in that sweet spot now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're doing good with it.
Graham and I actually go back to a year before we even started playing. We had a class together just discussing bands, and he asked if I played bass. I told him, yeah. Hadn't even touched a bass.
I had no idea how to play, which I had no idea.
Hits me up a year later, around the time he found Justin as well, and pick up a bass, and it all just starts coming together after that.
That's great. And have you always been known as the Wheelers, or is that something that you grew into?
Yeah, that's kind of always...
Yeah, just from the get-go, it's been the Wheelers, yeah.
We really didn't struggle that much with a name. I mean, it was maybe a week of us where we had our first practice where, we'd practice and then at the end of it we'd be packing up and it's like, so what are we called? And then we just started saying the Wheelers and we're like, all right, this works. Let's run with that. And it's been, almost 2 years and we're still running with it.
It's a name that's developed more meaning to us, over the time we've spent together than it originally had.
Yeah. It's also going from, because we were totally cover band when we started, which, I don't know how many bands who put out, their own music start off as a cover band or you start, but us being a cover band at least allowed us to, kind of establish ourselves in Tuscaloosa. And then now that we're moving, we've been, like I said, we've been together for close to 2 years now. We're moving to originals, that Wheelers identity. People already kind of, you can hear it in the music that we're making now, which is cool because, it's like we're kind of carrying on what we've been doing and now we're putting it into our own material. And it's interesting to see that, come to life.
I think the cover tunes gave us a bit of that, trying to figure out where we wanted to go with our sound and kind of establish that. And then just having all these different influences and stuff. I mean, especially when, our own music and the writing process and just in recording everything, I mean, you can kind of hear it. There's a lot of different influences from all these different places, and that was just from each of the guys having different influences and throwing out, I want to play this song, I want to play that song.
Yeah.
What would you say as far as being a cover band, what type of covers or type of genre do you tend to be covering? What's sort of the general sound of the band?
A lot of Dead.
No,
a lot of Dead.
A lot of Grateful
Dead. It didn't used to be like that. That's one of the main compliments that we got when we first started was, wow, y'all's set list is really, really good. It kind of caters to, everything. We play a little bit of blues, play a little bit of 60s, 70s, 80s, all that kind of stuff. So
a lot of classic rock.
Classic rock. We like to get heavy, and then we like to also play some stuff like the Grateful Dead where we can really get into, instrumentals. And
then we can, slow it down even more to, a Valerie or something.
Play, a Valerie, a War Pigs, and Althea.
It's all over the place. It's great.
Sweet Emotion all in the same set. And that was kind of, kind of invigorating to it. Especially especially when you're young, you just kind of want to get out there and just play as much as you can. And having a giant set and stuff that you can just kind of pick and choose from and kind of establish that vibe of like, oh, this show's a little more tame. Let's just kind of do some more chill stuff, or like a vibey sort of Grateful Dead tune. I mean, there's times still where we're talking to each other playing a show and we're like, let's just do like a 20-minute Fire on the Mountain and just kind of rock with it and jam it out. I think all of us, I mean, it keeps us like having fun with the music. It keeps us, wanting to keep doing it. And at this point, it's just kind of like if someone brings an idea to the band and we'll just sit down and kind of work with it, whatever style or anything.
Turn into an entire song. Like
I mean, it like starts at like the base of just like Graham just sitting in his room making a song, like, he'll just do small little drums or something. We bring it to practice. From what he puts on like GarageBand, it'll be completely different,
It's
like
awesome.
what we have like on the EP or what we have out now. So like he said, we just kind of get in practice, just kind of hear it out. Everybody's like, okay, I don't really like how that sounds there, so let's switch that up or something. So it's really just kind of, I don't know, just experimenting, honestly.
It's just the vibe.
Yeah.
The vibes are right.
That's
It's
great.
very, it's very collaborative and experimental with all of us.
Yeah.
So we don't really want to call ourselves a single genre. It's just as a freshman album, it's the music we want to make and what comes naturally.
The freshman album from some seniors.
yeah.
So I think that's great to be able to get to a point where you're able to release your own music. As you're playing and doing everything, how do you balance being a student as well as being a musician?
It's tough.
It's
I
definitely
mean,
tough.
if you don't sit
Shout out
down
to
and regiment yourself and tell yourself, I need to get this done, and allow yourself to just have some sort of discipline. And I feel like music in general is discipline. It's just a different kind of discipline. So carrying that over into schoolwork and all that sort of stuff. Because I mean, we'd love to do the music thing full time, but right now we're also in school, and that's kind of our. Like, music is unfortunately secondary focus right now.
What you say? He says like secondary like focus, but like it's still our job at the same time too. I mean, our
That's how
job
we
just
pay our
happens.
bills.
Yeah, secondary probably wasn't the best word.
Like
for it,
our
but-
job just happens to be that we're playing a band, we play on stage and stuff like that. But just like like just any other like normal student has to like go work at like Tropical Smoothie, like a 9 to 5 or whatever. Like that's their job.
It's just a
like
balance.
for us, like
That's
our
really the
job.
only thing that I feel like we argue about mainly is trying to balance everything
Yeah.
that we have going on.
Trying
right now.
to
I mean,
get
it's hard.
practices in, because the good thing about being students is obviously we tend to have weekends off, so we can play gigs. Now getting practices in during the week, that's a challenge, kind of scheduling around everybody's classes. Something that's kind of motivating about us all being students is you could see classmates that recognize us as a band and love our music. So almost on a day-to-day basis, you'll run into somebody that says, "Oh, I love the Wheelers."
That's great.
And that's really cool.
It is cool.
That's really cool to be kind of
Really gratifying.
entrenched with the people we play for every weekend.
Good deal. Well, let's get a few more people recognizing your music. We're going to play some right now. Here's a new single, Learning How to Walk, by the Wheelers.
I don't wanna leave here, but our time is done. The glowing neons burning like the morning sun. Stumbling this little by
studio with the Wheelers, talking to them ahead of the Battle of the Bands on Thursday. Super excited for that. How has the battle been so far? Semifinals, how are you feeling about it?
It's been great so far. I mean, it's it's already such a community. We have a group me, and we're all in it. And everyone's always they're always sending gear in there, sending shows that people are playing, and so it's a really great community just to be a part of, which is really cool. But it is a competition. And we are competitive, which which is why we're excited about it. It's why we're here. We're very excited for it. But it's the more people that come out and support us, it's student bands doing music, doing what they love. It's music. It's not competition. It's not we're just having fun.
I mean, it's a great way. That's why I love that we were doing this. And I was talking with some of the other bands at the semifinals too. And I was I always kind of wanted this sort of festival sort of aspect where a bunch of different bands could get together, push their music and stuff, have fun, and everyone could play together.
Yeah, we're coming here to compete with we're family still. So
competition aside, it was really fun to hang out with all these other bands together at once, because I don't really think that's ever happened before, at least with us in this current roster of bands in Tuscaloosa. It was really fun to see all the people that showed up, and the fact that we got to do it for a great cause too. We got to raise money for scholarships.
That's great.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was a couple of $1,000.
I think it was $3 or $4 grand is what he said at the end of the night.
Yeah. So for kids with scholarships, that was a great cause, and DC Social put on a great venue for us too. The stage was huge. I think Elite Productions was the ones that set up all the audio and sound and lights for us, and it made all of us feel like rock stars.
There's smoke going in the back and all this crazy stuff, and it was pretty.
I feel I was in an '80s music video.
So I'm definitely excited for Druid City, because that's an even bigger stage.
What do you think makes your group stand out? I mean, maybe from the other bands, but just stand out in general.
I say off stage. I'm gonna speak for off stage. So when we're off stage, we're no longer in that band mentality, if that makes sense. When we're off stage, we're students. We're students just like you. I'm a senior accounting major. I'm just as normal as you, my guy. And so when we come off stage, we just chop it up to people, and just talk like we're friends, because we are friends. I'm the same age as you. You're a student. I'm a student, and so we just be
cool. A lot of these dudes come to the same. They come to the shows repeated times. And we start recognizing them. That's so freaking cool. To see people come and be like, oh, I heard you're at the booth tonight. I'm there. That's awesome.
And I think we've started to grow a lot. Because when we first started off, the solos were probably kind of iffy. I feel like I've definitely grown as a player, and I know everyone else has
overall
too.
tightness.
Yeah, it's grown a lot, and I think we're starting to get comfortable, and we're getting into jams or stuff like that. And I think the musicality as a whole is just getting to a point where all of us are walking away from shows and we can say oh, I love that Valerie, or I love this, I love that.
It's great.
The way we can all find the pocket together and develop that, whether we're playing a jam or something we've practiced a million times before, that's by far my favorite part of playing with this group.
Just a connection.
We have. I feel like we have this mental connection on stage that once we nail it, that's what sets us above every other band.
And there's no words that need to be said either. That's the crazy part. It's just you just see each other.
It's that look in the eyes.
You just lock eyes and you just know.
And over time, as we keep doing that, gig after gig.
Yeah.
You can tell every single one of us is getting better and better.
What advice do you guys have for other students trying to start their own group?
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
That's all you gotta do, man.
Just find, if you can. I mean, if you want to, you will. And I think that's what happened with Graham. I mean, I got a text Christmas Day from this kid. He said, "Hey, my name's Graham Humphreys. I found you on Band Mix, all this stuff." And it's there's a lot of different ways, and it is tough. Sometimes when you don't necessarily have the facilities to find people playing music, but if you keep digging and go, you'll find a group of guys or girls that you'll love playing with, and just do it to the best of your ability. Give everything to it.
You learn so much quicker when you play with another group of guys, especially a live drummer, a live bass player. So if you want to start a band, man,
just do it.
Yeah,
I want to add
group
to that taking initiative. Yes, that is very important. But I will also say once you do take that initiative, like this band, even if we didn't have this band, like these are like my brothers. Like we're like family.
Facts.
We go out to the bars together, or you know we might watch the game together, something like that, or we might just randomly text each other like, hey man, let's go get dinner tonight or something. Like we're friends, we're family, and so I feel like that also helps with your band too, because you got to think like these are guys that you really spend like hours a week with, and you know if I'm coming into practice like God, I can't stand mad. It's just like you're not coming in like happy to like see these people and like how can y'all really have fun and make music?
And I feel like you build that bond playing.
And the disagreements are definitely inevitable.
Oh yeah.
As with working literally any job with anybody else, doing anything with other people, you're going to have disagreements, but it's how you overcome those disagreements and
respect each other.
Make it
respect
productive
each other.
towards putting a better product out.
Awesome.
That's a very important thing. Also, never forget about the people who have supported you the whole way.
Yeah.
Like, we would not have made it this far if people weren't showing up to our gigs, if people wouldn't let us use their houses to practice and when we sounded like
Buying
crap.
shirts
Yep.
and
Shout out
listening
Mikey.
to tunes.
Yeah, Mikey.
Good deal. Yeah, well, make sure to show up if you want to support the Wheelers on Thursday. Go to Druid City Music Hall. They're going to be playing in the Battle of the Bands. Where else can people find you?
Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. We have Learning How to Walk out right now.
We're releasing another single in about 2 weeks, and then we're going to be releasing a 5-song EP the week of the Iron Bowl, November 18th, as of right now. So on Instagram at the Wheelers the Band for all those updates, and wheels up.
Wheels
Sounds
up.
good. Awesome. Yeah, good luck, guys. Thanks for coming to the
Thanks
studio.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.